So, now I'm going to talk to you about a very common problem, all right? And the reason I say it's common is because desire discrepancy, a difference in desires, is not a sexual dysfunction. It is an inevitability in every long-term relationship. Now, in about 75% of my patients, the man wants sex more often than the woman, but in 25% of patients, the woman wants sex more often than the man. Right? You could think if we could just mix them all up and match them up to each other, everybody would be happy. But I think that desire discrepancy would persist. Now, this is the book that I wrote, Good Loving, Great Sex. Great title. And it is about desire discrepancy, and it works whether the man has the higher desire or the woman has the higher desire. Now, I wrote this in 1997. All right? This is a long time ago. Right? It is still selling. It's a bestseller. All right? And it just shows you how common this problem is. Now we're going to do a little physiology, all right? We've looked at the below the navel, all right? Now we're going to look at the bit, we're going to sort of shift our gaze up to the brain. Now, this is the limbic system in the brain here, and that's where desire is. And what I want you to imagine, right, is that there is a desire spot on your brain. And on that spot is a dial or a dimmer switch or something that you, like a thermostat, that you can turn up and you can turn down. Now, things that turn desire up are called desire enhancers. Things that turn desire down are called desire inhibitors. Now, depending on how many enhancers you have in your life and how many inhibitors you have in your life, that will determine your amount of desire. Lots of inhibitors, no desire. Few inhibitors and lots of enhancers, lots of desire. So it's quite a simple equation. Now, here are some typical desire inhibitors. Physical, fatigue, ill health medications, particularly medications like antidepressants. Emotional, stress, depression, anxiety, worry, guilt, shame. Relationship, poor communication, resentment, anger, conflict, unresolved hurt, lack of trust, disrespect, infidelity. And finally, sexual inhibitors, dissatisfaction, no longer being attracted to your partner, boredom, painful sex, a history of sexual abuse or assault. So those are all things that will turn down the desire dial. Now, what about enhancers? Well, there are some enhancers that men and women have in common. So obviously, being well rested, having good health, being emotionally stable, having a good relationship and satisfying sex, they're all enhancers. And they're common to both genders. But there are some specific enhancers that are typically preferred by men and some that are typically preferred by women. So let's have a look at women's enhancers. Okay, communication, intimacy. I say intimacy is into me see. Right? Letting the other person see who you are behind the mask that you wear out there in everyday life. Right? Really getting to know the other person. Words of love and affirmation, romantic gestures, affection, non-demand affection. What does that mean? Guys, that means affection without the groping. Quality time with partner, low level of conflict. Now, one of the things that you will all know is that these female enhancers are present in abundance when you are courting. So guess when sex drive, female sex drive is at its highest? In the early phase of the relationship. So this is called the limerence phase. It lasts 6, 12, 18 months, and it's a wonderful romantic phase. You can't keep your hands off each other. You want to be together all the time. You talk on the phone for hours. You don't sleep as much. You don't eat as much, all right? His breath smells good in the morning and all his jokes are funny, all right? But it's a very artificial time. It's a trick that Mother Nature plays on us to get us together and copulate, all right? But these enhancers are present in abundance, but they tend to disappear in time, right? We get used to being together. We move from the infatuation to the attachment phase, and these things tend to disappear, and along with it, female sex drive also declines. Now, as the relationship matures, domestic support becomes a very important desire enhancer for women. It has been proven scientifically through studies that men who help with the housework get more sex. All right? Now, men often ask me, are there any power-operated devices I can use to turn my woman on? And I say, absolutely. The iron, the vacuum cleaner and the washing machine. Works every time. Okay. So, there is no doubt that men and women are different. Okay. So, what are male enhancers, right? Male enhancers, right? Anything visual, it's said that men fall in love with their eyes and women fall in love with their ears. Men are very visually stimulatable. Men like pornography. They really like it. Some women like pornography too, but far more men like pornography. Nudity, lingerie, anything that says sexual availability. So a backless, topless, frontless, bottomless outfit, all right, works really well, all right. A sexy pose that says, come here and do it to me, all right, that is an enhancer. A responsive partner, varied lovemaking, novelty, spontaneity, erotica, pornography. People ask me what's the difference between erotica and pornography. Now, it's a personal decision and it will be different for every single one of you, because erotica is what turns you on and pornography is what offends you, right? Unfortunately, what is erotic for men is often pornographic for their wives, all right, and offensive. Now, before I move on,